Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are, of course, the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. Welcome to Felicity Banquet Hall, where unforgettable memories are made. Whether you're planning a wedding, birthday party, corporate meeting, or any special gathering. Why choose us? We are spacious, elegant, and fully air-conditioned hall. Customizable seating for up to 200 guests. Beautiful decor and lighting options. On-site kitchen and catering services. We are available 7 days a week. Located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. Call the number on the screen today and book now.
Okay, my friends, pleasant, good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Those of you who are locked on, those of you who have been anticipating our program on Hard Facts, my friends, I want to take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you to our program today. Our program today, my friends, we are really and truly going to hit the ground, and we are really and truly making numbers around the country, Trinidad and Tobago, at this point in time. My friends, Trinidad and Tobago, at this point in time, you all have to understand that lots and lots of things are happening in front of our eyes. Some people are scared. Some people are really scared out of their wits to even come out and say anything, even to speak, even to pick up a phone and call. It is a tedious task. In some cases, people are really and truly scared. So, my friends, those of you who are locked on, you are a patriot for our country. The number 372-2129, you can call me and let me know exactly what is taking place in your neck of the woods. My friends, again, this is your program, Hard Facts. It is a voice, maybe in the wilderness, but again, lots and lots of people are following. They are looking at our program. People in South America, people in North America, people in India, Pakistan, around the globe, they are watching our show. So, my friends, those of you who are locked on, feel free to call me at the number 372-2129. Let's have some neutral discussion. As you all would have realized by now, Indian Arrival Day was celebrated on Friday. And you are seeing, again, you know, when people, I always say this, I say it in my show, I say it in the masjid, I say it wherever I go. When you have nothing good to say, the best thing to do is remain quiet, remain silent. That's the best advice you can give anybody. But you know something, people like to jump in the foray and make a fool out of themselves. And I've seen that happening in the past. All right, so today we're going to discuss that. Feel free to call me, 372-2129. And you're going to realize at the right of me, you're going to be the left of you, you're going to see an individual here. This is, my friends, my nephew, Akash Sukhdeo. And my nephew is here, my friends, really and truly to identify with some of the challenges that he has seen. And again, he's a budding journalist, and he's a practicing Hindu. And again, my friends, those of you who are locked on, you can communicate with him. You can communicate with the studio by calling 372-2129. So I want to take this opportunity, Akash, to welcome you to the program.
Special. Good afternoon to those of you who are locked on online. My name is Akash Sukhdeo. As I join the Imam today to discuss that what is happening around Trinidad and Tobago. As we sit here and we talk about the solution and the situation that what is happening in our country today.
Right. So again, those of you who are maybe you are familiar with Akash, he is residing in the area of Arima, and he is an activist in that community where he move around, he identify with the challenges that has plagued him and the community. Right. So I invited him to the program, and as I said on many occasions, those of you who are living, whether it be in Grandi, whether it be in Toko, whether it be in any part of the country, my friends, you can really and truly just call me, and you can be a co-host, you can be a guest in our show, Hard Facts, right? So we want to begin our program here today with, what is taking place when it comes to crime. Crime is something, my friends, that if you really look at it, crime has no really and truly racial connotations, right? In our country, anybody at any time could be robbed, could be molested, could be murdered. Anything could happen in this country, Trinidad and Tobago, and as a matter of fact, it is a neutral thing that is taking place around the globe. But in our country, when we look at the amount of people it has, and you're going to realize that, my friends, a new government is in play, and a lot of things has really and truly been initiated now, and maybe you can't get the result now. You plant a tree today, you can't get fruits tomorrow. So this government has been in power at one period of time that would have been in 2010, 2015, and you would have realized when you look at the murder rate in that period of time, and you look at the murder rate when we look at 2015, 2025, you're going to realize that it was exorbitantly high, right? And I am telling you this, I am looking forward for the reduction of the murder rate in our country. Isn't that so, Akash?
Yes.
Right? Again, so my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, when we look at the crime rate, and so many things are happening, Director, pull up anything you have on the crime so that we could be able to initiate and have some conversation here on the program. So Akash, you could feel free to maybe tell me what is taking place in your area when it comes to crime, the criminal elements, and you need to really and truly identify some of the problems that your area is being plagued with at this point in time.
Well, in my community, that we have a lot of things happening, and we are calling on the police of Trinidad and Tobago that they are lacking of patrols and etc. And something needs to be done, because these criminals and them do not care about nobody. They do not fear anything. So we are calling on this government. As you know, the former government before didn't care about the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So we are calling on this government that the safety of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, you have to ensure that they are safe in their countries and communities.
Right. So basically, the clarion call has been made by Mr. Akash here that the police needs to, beef up their patrols, not only in that area, that is what have been Piaco, St. Helena, Piaco, St. Helena, Aruca, those areas there. But again, in all parts of the country, whether it be central Trinidad, whether it be north, whether it be south, whether it be east, whether it be west, wherever it may be, Mr. Akash is making a clarion call to the Minister of Homeland Security, that's the Honorable Roger Alexander, and he's asking that, criminals should really and truly have that fear now, that we have a senior police officer who is in command, who has a ministerial position, and that is something that, it is a positive start. Because, I was looking back at the past, the track records of the other ministers, and you're going to realize that when it comes to ministerial positions, it is really and truly a plus for the UNC right now to have a person with that cadre of protective knowledge when it comes to policing in our country. So again, we should be looking forward to ease when it comes to crime in our country. And that is what we are hoping for. So my friends, those of you who are locked on, I want to take this opportunity again. You are having your lunch. Some of you may be having leftovers from yesterday. And I always say this in my program on a Monday, that the leftovers, somehow or the other, that stew chicken, that kalalu, that red bean, or that curry chicken, that roti, or whatever, it tastes better on a Monday. Especially when you have to take it to work and sit with your friends, and maybe even so much so, share with your friends. So those of you who are having your lunch break, we started a bit late, and that's what I've been simply because my friend, my nephew here, he came from a distant, and basically he had to come through. He didn't really understand the area so good, and he had to take the long route when he could have taken the Monroe flyover, come through the back road, and head straight down. Maybe he took the longer route. That's the reason why we started a bit late here today. Akash, you know something? An important thing is that I know you deal with a lot of youth programs. And another important thing is that you were not well.
Yeah.
And maybe you could speak about those two things so that the population outside there could understand that, you know, people are working. There are people outside there who are not getting government subvention.
Correct.
You're not getting any money from the government. You're not being paid. But yet still you're doing charitable work and you are doing activism, etc. in the different areas, like identifying. And I know for a fact that you are working with Khadija Amin and a few. Maybe you could tell the public outside there.
Well, Imam, you will know, as we have our youth group, my friend here is the leader of the youth group, and the reason of this youth group that we started in our community is that get the youths involved in not only spirituality, but in sports, because it is lacking in our country here too. It is lacking because youths today is not youth like in the 90s.
Yeah.
So that is the main thing that we have started our group, Legacy Leaders, as you will know that, and we have been going around and talking to youths, and we are getting them involved in activities, but not, as I said before, not only in spirituality. Now, spirituality is very good, but we want them in things like cricket, sports, to get this crime out of our country today. Because the crime situation, again, it is very, very out of hand, out of control, that the former government didn't care. You see, we had a former government, the Minister of National Security, Fitzgerald Hines, and he didn't care about the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. What he did is sleep all over Trinidad. All over Trinidad, he sleep, Imam.
So basically, you know, when we look at our screen there, those of you who are locked on, you are locked on our TikTok, you are locked on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and we are live on Facebook at this point in time. Thus far, the director has shown us 3 clips. Number 1 clip is attempted arson attack on home of cop. Now, that is something that really and truly should not be condoned, because I tell you something, these police officers, Akash, these police officers, they give their blood, they give their sweat. And they give, you know, their life to the country. And here it is that they have resigned now, and, you know, resigning now, and they would have expected that the country should at least show them some kind of kindness and respect.
Correct.
I know for a fact that the government, under the leadership of the Honorable Kamala Prasad, the Cessor, I know for a fact that she's going to show kindness to a lot of people. I'm sure for that. But the country, the community, especially where persons who serve, whether it be the police, whether it be fire, whether it be national security, in any form or fashion, they should be treated with a certain caliber of respect. And that is not what we are seeing. People start disrespecting. And, you know, Akash brought up something. In the 1990s, you know, it would have been different. People would have shown respect. They would have honored the elders. They would have shown kindness to the youngsters and so forth. But we're not seeing that today. And you know something? A lot of excuses are going to be made. And people are going to say, well, you know, this is a different era. This is a different generation. But I beg to differ, because I tell you something. If you are a Hindu, right, and you are reading your scriptures, that scriptures didn't change. If you are a Muslim and you are reading the Quran, or a Christian and reading the Bible, those scriptures pertain to morality and respect and spirituality. That has not been revised and changed. Those things have still been there as ordinance, as rules and regulations that you all can really and truly understand. And that's the reason why last week in our program, I think it was Saturday show, I called on the government of the day to reinstate religious instruction as a subject in the school curriculum. You understand? Because you might not see it. You might not see it. But I will tell you something. Imam Rashid Karim came from that RI program. Because I remember when I was maybe about 14, going to 15 years, right? Junior sec, senior sec era. And I tell you something, there was a teacher who was teaching RI. And because of him, and we had the opportunity to go and sit in that class for religious instruction, that is where I pick up some of my Islam, and then I continue on that trend until today. I am an imam, I am a teacher, I am an activist, And so many things has been derived from that class, religious instruction. And I tell you all something, I am calling on the Minister of Education and the Honorable Kamal Prasad Bissessa. I'm calling from this program to reinstate religious instruction. Pay a teacher, pay a pundit, pay a imam, pay a maulana, pay a sheikh, pay a priest, pay them, give them a stipend, and let them take it as a subject in school 5 days per week. Because I tell you something, the country, Trinidad and Tobago, is really and truly dying spiritually. And that is because of lack of spirituality that is in the school. Because 1 day a week if you go to church, that makes sense?
No. As you bring up that imam, I sit home by me and my cousin, we were having a discussion. And I told her, I said, just now, you wouldn't hear nothing about mosque, temple, and church. Because this generation today wants to hear nothing about that.
Yeah. And that is something, I tell you something, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, we really and truly have to, really smell the coffee. Not only drink the coffee, but get the aroma of what is taking place. We are reaping the benefits of criminal elements in our society, right? Let me just give you a practical example. And like it seems as though nobody fears the law. One guy, he was caught pelting contraband, it could be weed, it could be something, you don't know if it could be ammunitions, we don't know. And he was found, he was caught. Yeah. And then another time, and today when I read the newspaper, I saw it is his third time. And things like that, my friends, you and I as citizens of our country, we need not only to criticize the person, yes, but ensure that the person benefit. And let me just quote something before we take our first break. Let me just quote something, and Akash, maybe you could make a comment before we take our first break. Now, there's a saying that, oppression, the people who commit oppression in a society, right? One person went to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and said that such and such man, he is committing oppression and putting hardship in the life of citizens at that time. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, fight oppression until oppression is no more. That's number one. But he also said, help the oppressor. Help the oppressor. Now, when he said that, the Sahabas, the companions who were close to him, asked the question, O Nabi, O Prophet, how can we help the oppressor? And you know what was the answer? My friend, and I want you all, those of you who are live on TikTok, those of you who are facing us and watching our program, and you could call us, nothing wrong, 372-2129. Shoot a call, let us know what is going on in your neck of the woods. You know what the Prophet, peace be upon him, help the oppressor means to say, give him the directive to stop committing oppression. That is how you can help the oppressor. How to help the oppressor is by helping him stop oppression. Maybe you can give him guidance. Maybe you can talk to him. Maybe you can, give him admonitions. And maybe if that person, like again this morning, I don't want to make the show a religious show, but I tell you something. Akash, give me your take and I will close off after. Go ahead. Give me your take on that. What do you think about that? How to really and truly help build our country spiritually?
Well, according to you, Imam, as you are calling on the government to pay teachers, pay spiritual leaders like Imam, pundits, priests, and these are the things that we need to do in our country to get our religion out there. Because in this generation to come, just now, you will not hear anything about these religions, other religions, like Muslims, Hindus, and Christian. So we are calling on the government to really do and hear out that we are saying, start to look into that, because that is something is important. Without God, there is nothing. Exactly. Imam can tell you that.
Exactly. So on that note, we're going to take off our first break, and we're going to continue our program after this break. So those of you who are watching, my co-host is Mr. Akash Sukhdeo, and he is in this program here today as a guest, so that we can really and truly talk about issues that is affecting the youths, that is affecting areas like where he came from, that would have been the Aruca, Arima, St. Helena, and Piaco area. And those of you in those areas, maybe you can identify, you can call. Some of you know him, you can call and give him a shout out, 372-2129. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue our program, Hard Facts.
Welcome to Felicity Banquet Hall, where unforgettable memories are made. Whether you're planning a wedding, birthday party, corporate meeting, or any special gathering. Why choose us? We are spacious, elegant, and fully air-conditioned hall. Customizable seating for up to 200 guests. Beautiful decor and lighting options. On-site kitchen and catering services. We are available 7 days a week. Located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. Call the number on the screen today and book now.
Okay, my friends, special good Monday afternoon to those of you who are locked on to our program. And we are asking you all, my friends, this is your voice. You have an opportunity, right? You have, like, for example, one person tell me, he say, Imam, I prefer to be on the national media. I say, national media, you could pay for national media. National media is by seconds, 30 seconds ad, 50 seconds ad, and that is how you operate. Sometimes you do a press release. You do a press release for 1 hour, and you get half a minute. And sometimes you do a whole 2 hours press conference, and you never hear your voice on national media. They censor it, or they clip it and they put a reporter voice. So when you are given the opportunity, like now, 3722129 is a very, very important opportunity that you have to identify. We're not telling you to call here and criticize anybody, because I tell you something, you all have to understand this. And this is something I've been saying over and over and over. Many of you are looking and you are seeing a toothpick in a man's eyes, but you are not seeing the log in your own eye. That is the reason why you criticize people. Like, for example, Akash, during the Indian arrival day thing, right? People were saying that, it's a Hindu arrival day.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I tell you something. If the Hindu community wants to celebrate it in whatever way, that is their money. They have been given the opportunity to celebrate it's a holiday. If the Christian people want to celebrate, because in that boat that came, and as indentured laborers came, it had Christians, it had Hindus, it had Muslims. Everybody was there. But if the Hindu community wants to celebrate by, having their functions and they singing and whatever, nothing is wrong with that. If the Muslim community, whether it be Asha, whether it be any Islamic organization, whether it be Ummah TNT, and we are, as I tell you something, we are celebrating the arrival day with a dinner coming up. We have chosen that. You understand? Because of, everybody celebrating, and maybe, things might go haywire. We have put aside a day. That date would be on the 22nd, Sunday the 22nd of June. We are having a nice, lavish dinner. The costing of the dinner is $150, but when you purchase 4 tickets, you pay $500. Families can, if you have little children and things, you can call us and say, well, Imam, I have a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, and do I have to pay? No, you don't have to pay, but you have to make sure that when the children come to the functions like that, you have to scrutinize and examine their movements and so forth, right? This is the dinner, the IFST Eid dinner, that would be held on the 22nd of June, Sunday the 22nd of June, starting time 3 p.m. And really and truly, it is going to commemorate the arrival day, because that is what we normally do. We have some youths, little children will be reciting from the glorious Quran. We have children who will be singing qasidas, young people will be singing, and all those things will be taking place. So I cannot understand, I cannot fathom, I always say this. There's a verse in the Quran, chapter 109 of the glorious Quran, which tells you, to you your way and to me my way. So I cannot understand. That is only people are supposed to understand. We live in a multicultural, a multi-religious society. What about Vibes Cartel? Huh? People went to the Vibes Cartel and they paid $500 or $200 US. They enjoy themselves. Why we must be quarreling for? Why we have to be discriminating? Why we have to be fighting down? It's a Hindu arrival day. Leave it alone. If you want to celebrate, the day arrival day is a day that is given by the government as a public holiday. Whether you Christian, if you want to go to church and have a function in the church, you want to take a savannah, invite all your flock and let them come there, or if you are a Muslim and you want to go to a complex or anything like that and have a function, it is a proper fitting occasion for you to remember. You remember, where your forefathers came from. You understand? What sense it make to create confusion and division in our country? We already have that happening with the criminal elements. We have to bond together. We have to keep ourselves together. And these frivolous pursuits that many of you are fighting after and running after to get some sort of political mileage, you're not going to reach nowhere. That's the reason why, you see me, I come in this program here Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, identifying some of the atrocities and the anomalies that is taking place in our country. I don't have time to criticize people. You understand? Because maybe they're better than me.
I sure Imam, the said person who is coming out and calling his Hindu arrival, they wouldn't take the time to understand about their forefathers, but they will have time to come on
and criticize. And I'll tell you something, media is like this, right? Media is like this. Sensationalism. Anything that can sell the papers, you understand? Majority of the front page stories, majority of that headline story, the front page story, there's a deeper meaning, because you know when you are passing, right, and you see the newspaper on the shop shelf, you see that newspaper and you see, you know, blackout, or you see somebody 10 murder or something like that, you gravitate to buy the newspaper. So that's the sensationalism that the newspaper wants to sell. So they put that in the front page. But you know, if somebody do something good, you don't see that in the front page, because that doesn't sell. And that is the reason why I am saying this here on our program. You know something, there are many good things that is happening in the country. But you know what, social media, you know what, they gravitate to things that is pornographic, things that is hostile and bring hostility in the heart of people. Right? So those of you who are calling the number, I see you calling the number here, please call 372-2129. But Akash, tell me, give me some information. Give me some information. Carry on the conversation.
Well, you see, Imam, as I said before, they wouldn't take the time to understand about their forefathers. They will take the time to sit down on their social media and to bash, take the time, that same energy you're taking to sit down and make a video that is bashing whoever. Take that same energy and put it towards
something positive. Yeah. Understand? So exactly what we are saying here. Now, those of you who are locked on, you know, a lot of things has been happening. We've seen, like for example, I saw this, right? I saw this a while ago. I saw it this morning, as a matter of fact, where the Minister of Finance, right? Come back to us, Director. We'll pull that after. The Minister of Finance mentioned something that he's saying artists are being paid exorbitant money. It's like $1.35 million US dollars. Where is it that they are getting that kind of money to pay when you, the citizens of our country? This is what I think I would expect the general population to really and truly come out in their large numbers and find out if an artist is he's collecting for one show, maybe a couple hours show, 1.35, 135, Akash? Yeah. 1.35 million US dollars. You tell me, and people like you and I who are businessmen in our country, we cannot get more than 1,500 US dollars. You cannot get more than 15. Some people get 2,000. Some people who have credit card getting 200. And you tell me, Trinidad and Tobago, this, you all staying quiet? You know, when good people stay quiet, crime prevail in our country. Correct. Everybody should go on social media and ask the question how that is so. And I want to say hats off to the Minister of Finance, where he's going to investigate that. Where is it that money is going to come from? Where it is, you know, they're going to get that money to pay the artists that kind of exorbitant US dollars. Right? So again, my friends, as I told you all, Akash, maybe you could tell us about the infrastructure in your area. Because I know for a fact that when rain fall, especially in Piaco, in your area, it is really, really a crazy thing. Tell me.
Well, you see, Imam, I wouldn't say lack of MPs and etc. But under the former government, the PNM government, they don't care. I mean, it's not that this program is not like to be bashing anybody, but this is to identify what is happening. Yeah. And my area does flood very fast.
Identify the streets. Identify streets and things so that, you know, whoever watching.
Mohan Trace, Mangal Drive, and higher up. And in Orupun Gardens, that is on the next side of me, those areas flood in seconds. With one hard shower, and those areas flood in 1 second. And we are calling on this government. I mean, we was with them in many occasions, and they have been trying to assist me when there was an opposition in any way they could have. And I am sure that they will make sure that those areas wouldn't be flooded again.
Right. So again, so hats off to the Minister, and I'm sure that the Minister of Local Government at this point in time, the Honorable Khadija Amin, I know for a fact that when she was in opposition, she would have distributed hampers and mattresses. I know. You understand? Some of you might feel that, you know, I am under the radar. I was under the radar for a reason. And I'll tell you something, I've been identifying and people are understanding the reason why I went under the radar for a bit. But again, my friends, the government of the day, which is the United National Congress, which I wholeheartedly supported all the way, we're talking about from 2015 to 2025. Everybody, people know me. I tell you something, people calling me and asking me, Imam, can I get this, can I get that? I don't know. I cannot say. Because I tell you something, on many occasions I have reached out to many of the MPs, and it seems as though, I'm telling you, being honest here, it seems as though, I don't know, they don't respond. I can't understand why they're not responding. And that is something that you really and truly identify the gravity and the amount of performance I made. And you know something? I think that, you know, communication should be made on the board. Because I tell you something, there are people who abuse Akash.
Correct.
There are people who curse. There are people who debase the political leader and MPs and members of parliament in the worst manner. And they are sitting next to them. Next to the ministers, and next to the prime minister, and so forth. Yeah. And has some of those people, they don't even have any followers.
Correct.
And they have been given the opportunity. Why? Because you know why? Because they have a mouth and they can be able to speak. And because of maybe taming these voices, they are given permission and they are given position. But my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, I just want to let you all know, we're not you know, championing any cause for any position, but fair is fair. Fair is fair. Men like Akash, and we have a lot of activists, myself, a lot of activists in this country. You know, the elements of the party, whether it be the executive of the party, should be pulling their archives now and getting people like myself and all others on board. Because we understand, like for example, I know exactly what causes the flooding when it comes to Felicity, Monroe Road, Endeavour. I know exactly. Some of you might think you know, but some of you don't know. And you take in information and advice. I do hope you will contact those of you who are in the Oropun area, in the Piarco area, whether it be the councillor for the area, so much so even the minister. Now the minister is a grassroots woman, right? The minister Khadija Amin is a grassroots woman, and we know that. We know that, so we don't have a problem there. I know for a fact that she will be able to identify, because starting from a councillor position and moving up to chairman and whatever, you're going to realize that they would have been a quarrel with whatever situation. But my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, we are talking about situation. You understand? We are talking about things that is happening in front of our eyes, and we do hope and pray that, you know, people should not be prejudiced against anybody because of their religion, because of their color, because of their creed, because of identity, because of position. They should not be discriminated upon. That is religion. That's the religion of Al-Islam.
And Imam, that is going on in our country today.
Yeah.
It is going on in our country. When it comes to political things that is happening.
Yeah. We see that happening. Yeah. We see people from the back of the line come in front of the line, and they eat our food and they benefit. And you know something? I tell you something, huh? Nobody is going to be in government forever.
No.
Right? Whether it be PNM, whether it be United National Congress. And we know for a fact that a trend is like this. The United National Congress will come in government for 5 years. And they will lift the status quo of the country. They're going to build the country, do a lot of development work, complete a lot of projects. And then after 5 years, people start being disgruntled and they are disenchanted and they are now, we don't want this, and they thief out the government and they take it. I seen it already. People saying that they're going to borrow money to fix the country. They're going to borrow money to do this. They're going to borrow money to thief. A whole set of things I seen. I told you all this when the United National Congress was in opposition. Very few of those the voices that you're hearing now, they were ever expressed in any manner or any fashion. They never come out and say anything. They take the brunt of the sword. Now all of these people, and it had 4 protests thus far, Akash.
Yeah.
The nurses protest, right? The San Fernando workers protest, the flour mill protest, and somebody else again protest, the director. Somebody else protested. There are 4 protest action taking place. And again now, we've seen some bloggers on the social media. They're coming out. They know everything now. But when PNM was in power, now tell us something. I have nothing against nobody. Eh?
Correct.
I have nothing against nobody. Because I tell you something. We had a Eid function with the Prime Minister. At that time, would have been Stuart Young. And my photo came out. You understand? You know, when I go, anywhere I go, right? Anywhere I go, I don't know. The media gravitate to me. And we were praying our Salah, our prayer, our Maghrib prayer in the diplomatic center. And you know, when we were praying there, the cameramen come and they took out my photo, Stuart Young, the Prime Minister, and Kazim Hussein, Minister of Agriculture. And I was praying in the middle. I'm the Imam. I prayed in the center. Both people came to me and they prayed. One prayed on the right, one prayed on the left. And the photo came out. And that was the photo that they used in the newspaper. You know something? People went outside there and they say Imam gone PNM. And Imam gone PNM. But when 1,001 picture, 1,001 photos of me and Kamala Prasad Bisesa all over the place. Right? 1,001. You know, you send me a video. You send me a video, right? I'm going to send that video out there. I will send that video out there and the director will pull it up. And this is the kind of work I did for the party. But I tell you something, I'm not blowing my own horn. Right? Who is that there? Who is that there? You understand? One photo I took out and I didn't take it out. I didn't take it out. That is Rashid Karim.
Yeah.
That is Rashid Karim there. No, you know something? One photo was taken out with Stuart Young and Kazim Hussein. And you know, I am branded as PNM. People say Imam gone PNM. That is to tell you the level of hate. The level of hate people have for individual, knowing that individual could make something better for the people of this country. That is the problem in Akash. Anytime you use a man burden, I tell you something. Akash Sukhdev, right? He's a man burden in the sense that he is now lifting his head in his community. He doing religious program, he doing social program, he doing cultural program. And I tell you something, chances are you mightn't reach anywhere far because people just start hating you.
From the moment.
Let me tell you something. People will tell me, Akash is African descent. He's a Hindu by faith. Right? Now people will say, how he's a Hindu?
I get that many times.
Express that.
I went in many places and people was like for instance, when I went in the hospital, doctor asked, what religion is by the way? I said, Hindu. He said, Hindu. So I was like, yeah. I don't understand why you rock back so. But I get that all the time.
But you understand Trinidad and Tobago? You understand what I'm saying? Like one fella, I remember one fella, right? His name was Mahesh Sukram, right? And he went to collect a check. At the borough. There was a problem there with some flooding and they was giving out some check. And you know, when he went, his African fella, but his name is Mahesh Sukram. When he went, they said, no, this is not your check. The man had to take out the ID card
and show them.
Well, I am Mahesh Sukram. You understand? So don't get tired up. People getting tired up. You understand? You all, those of you who are locked on, feel free to call us 3722129. That's it. Let us know what is going on. Don't be scared. The criminals have already taken root. It's about time we uproot the criminals in our society and bring good sense. Let good sense prevail. We have to help this government. We can't go and criticize the government. Government is only in power about 35 days now. And what we are seeing, they are now doing fact-finding missions.
But the thing is, Imam, we have so much a law pertaining to a licensed firearm. But these criminals don't have any laws to use them. I remember, for instances, I wouldn't call no names, there was a home invasion and the guy have a licensed firearm and the bandit itself was holding an iron to hit his son and he shot the guy in his back. You know, today that said guy cannot get back his licensed firearm.
All right, so they will classify that as undue force and whatever. So again, Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who are locked on, maybe you can call us and tell us how long your firearm license has really and truly been in the commissioner's office waiting to be signed. Maybe you have done your preliminaries, you have done all your stuff and you're still waiting on the signature of the commissioner of police endorsing your firearm license. Feel free, 3722129. Let's take a second break and when we come back, my friends, we're going to continue on our program, Hard Facts.
Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are, of course, the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas.
Okay, my friends, special good afternoon to all our loyal listeners, our loyal viewers, and those persons who have been sending messages via TikTok, and those of you who are live watching us on Facebook. My friends, again, my guest today on our program, Hard Facts, is my nephew, Akash Sukhdeo. And again, my friends, those of you who are locked on, feel free to call 372-2129. And you know something, Akash just brought an example of an incident that took place. How long that took place, Akash?
Some years now.
Right, we're talking about maybe 5 years?
Yeah.
All right, around 5 years, where some bandits came. Describe that incident for me again.
It was a home invasion, and the bandits were in the house, and the
Right.
guy have a licensed firearm, and the bandit was going to hit his son with that iron, and the man shot that guy in his back, and today he cannot get back his licensed firearm.
Okay, so that's another thing again. So that's the reason why, those of you who are locked on, I have been calling on the Commissioner of Police. When Ola was there, I've been calling on Ola to describe or tell us or prepare some documentation if somebody come in your house, right, as you would describe it, as an invasion, right, and they will be attacking you, like for example what transpired with what Akash is saying, and the guy is going to hit the man's son with a piece of iron in his head. Maybe that could have been murder. Right? And the father saw that, and he drew his weapon and he shot the guy in the back. Police took that firearm, and up till today, which is approximately 5 years, the person didn't get back their firearm up to now. So all these things, that's the reason why I told you, you know, Trinidad and Tobago, I tell you this, some of you you're rushing to go and apply for a firearm. Now, Kamala Prasad, the Prime Minister, said that empty the clip and so forth. And she said if you want a firearm and you have the criterion, means to say that you have the reason for having to own a firearm, whether for protective measures and what have you. Because I tell you something, at this point in time, anybody and everybody have the opportunity to make application. But is it going to be granted? That's number two. Number one, apply. But if your application, you have a lot of things to do. Some of you might know this, that if you have a domestic fallout with your madam, your wife, and she say, well, no, she's not going to sign that form for you. You're not going to get any firearm. You're not going to get any license. So if you go, you have to get a medical stating that you are physically fit. You have to go through a process of learning to use your firearm, how to clean, how to protect, how to guard your firearm. So it's not, you know, it's not that you're going and you see something in America, you're going to a gun store, and you buy 2 guns and you come outside there. No, it's not like that.
But that is how citizens take it, Imam. They think like that. Since when Kamala said that firearms will be given out to citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, they tell themselves that everybody that will have no procedures for a firearm.
Yeah, but they have a lot of process. A lot of process that has to take place. That's the reason why I'm calling. And a lot of people may be saying, why we call any program for? You know, why we call any program? But I tell you something, if you call and identify, maybe somebody else outside there could be listening and say, well, I am in the same predicament, I am in the same boat. Even so much so, the last government held back firearm license for so long that people had to take the Commissioner of Police and the Ministry to task. They had to carry the people to court. Right? So again, Trinidad and Tobago, thank you all for being part and parcel of our program. Now, last week, during the course of the week here, 4 persons lost their life. Director? 4 persons lost their life in a motor vehicle accident, right? And this is the vehicle that the people were driving. 6-year-old amongst 5 killed on nation roads over the weekend. Now, first thing people would say that the driver drunk.
Intoxicated.
Yeah, first thing
Yeah,
they would say that.
first thing.
Now, we don't know. We don't know. Wait on facts. Wait on the irrelevant information.
Sure.
That's the reason why the police investigation on matters like that, when 5 and 4 people die on the roadways, that is a headline story. And the findings that comes out of that should be made public because people are worried, people are concerned, people want to know what transpired. It is 4 human beings lost their life. It is 4 human beings, inclusive of a young little child who is now burdened. A family is wiped out. That's the reason why today I always mention this to you. Some of you kiss your children goodbye and you hug them up in the morning. Your chances are you don't know if you're reaching back home.
Correct.
This is how our life is today. So again, my friends, those of you who are locked on, I want to thank you all for being part and parcel of our program. Share our videos. Let people know that they have a voice. And this voice, my friends, is going to be identifiable. We are going to identify so that the people, the public would know exactly, well, this is happening in Felicity, this is happening in Charlieville, this is happening in Oropoon, this is happening in Caranage, this is happening in Grandy, this is happening in Labray. This is what we want here. So when we come, we will not waste time. We will not waste your time. Because if people who are watching us, I don't want them to come here and see the same old, same old, same old. That's the reason why I give you all the opportunity to call me 3722129. That's the number you can reach us and have communication and dialogue with us, especially on TikTok. TikTok people can call us at 3722129. Let us know what is going on. Do you think that the government is taking too long to really and truly start in their performance? And if that is the case, identify, but I want to say that they are not taking too long. Because I tell you something, PNM was there for 10 years, and we look at it, they had spent approximately $600 billion. That's approximately close to $1 trillion.
I remember seeing this video on TikTok, Imam, just before I came to the studio, and this woman will be talking about Kamala Prasad Bisasa and her party, that she is taking long. And you know what come to my mind? That PNM was in government for 10 years. Where were your voice was?
Yeah. Where were your voice? And that's the basics of what we talk about on our program. So we are calling on the government of the day. Number one of the clarion call that we are making on this program is to make it known, let people know, right, identify and let it be public knowledge when it comes to empty the clip and getting firearms. Just as Akash would have stated, right? Just as how he could have stated that people get the impression that any and everybody going to get firearm license. That is not possible.
But according to you, Imam, the Minister of Homeland Security should do up a draft.
A draft, yes. Yeah. They're supposed to do a document, publish it in the daily newspaper, and have it in stage. Number one stage is a businessman or a businesswoman or a farmer or people like that, people who are productive citizens. And number two, we could go to the public servants, people who are ministers, ministry, different areas in the public service, and those kind of things who are high risk, put those people on the front burner. And then maybe trickle down. Even housewives should get a firearm. Right? We don't say no, we're not saying that, we're not discriminating, but put it in segment, in different perspective that people would understand. And the second thing that we are making a call on here today in our program, Hard Facts, is that we are asking to reinstate religious instruction as a subject. Because you see, when children come into class, and you have a 45 minutes period with them, right? And that teacher there, maybe you can have 2 teachers, nothing wrong. And indoctrinate in the minds of the children, that, you know, we have to be this, we have to be obedient to our parents, we have to be obedient to our elders, we have to show love and respect to our, you know, different segment of our society. That is what is needed. You're going to realize that from 2090 to now, from 90 to now, the country is going down and down and down when it comes to morality and spirituality. Why? Simply because, look at it, you all have shattered the religious instruction programs. And that's the reason why we are reeling, because if you look at different religious persuasion, they go to church maybe once or twice per week. When they go to the temple, same thing. The masjid is no difference. People are called to pray 5 times a day. But how many people go to pray 5 times a day? People will go to pray on a Friday, or if there's a lecture or a class going on a Saturday or weekend, that's the time they go. But let's be real.
Imam, some people tell themselves praying is just by going to the mosque alone. So once for the week, I will go to the mosque or the temple, and that's a day. After that, no prayers.
Yeah, and that's wrong. So I think that, when we have children who have, young mind, productive minds, we can harness that. We can harness that and really and truly indoctrinate them in certain types of behavior that could be a productive one in the sense of identifying and dealing with the challenges that is taking place in our society today. Right? So my friends, those of you who are locked on, our program is coming to an end. And I would like to ask Akash to make some closing comments. And maybe you can tell us a few things and maybe you can close off with that.
Well, folks, those of you who are locked on, I would like to say hats off to the Imam again with his program. And this, as Imam always said, that this program is not for he alone. This is for the voice of Trinidad and Tobago and around the world. So you could call and identify your problems and what is happening. This program is for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. That is why I'm sitting here today. I messaged Imam and I told him I will join him today.
Right.
I will join him today because in many occasions I make videos live and things and identifying that what is happening in our country. And I saw many things happening in our country today and nothing is being done. And people are talking about the United National Congress and saying they are taking too long. When the PNM government was in office, you all didn't come out and protest. You all sitting home and in election time when you come and they give you $1,000, Imam, hold that in your pocket. And then next 10 years, you're hungry. So that don't make sense in our country. We as a nation have to stand up as a nation who and what we want for our country and who to run our country. As a youth sending a message here today for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we need to unite as one and stop this violence. And let us correct when we see our children or youngsters growing up and they are taking the wrong path, we need to correct them. And some parents are letting their children take the wrong path and doing nothing about it.
Exactly. So again, that was advice to the youths, and not only the youths. That is a general portion of advice that Akash gave to Trinidad and Tobago. That goes for the ministers, that goes for the opposition, that goes for the senators, the councillors. That type of information means to clearly say that if you see something that is wrong, try to correct it. Try to straighten it out. Don't wait until, it becomes so much a plague in our society that, you're trying to correct it now and you can't, because that is what normally happens at home. When you saw your children maybe taking a first cigarette pull and you didn't correct them or you didn't reprimand them, you know what they're doing? They're smoking cocaine in front of you now and you can't do nothing. You understand? And as parents today, we cannot at no point in time sit with our children and drink and smoke and really and truly demonstrate that kind of lackadaisical. Parents have a role, right? And that rule has to be a positive rule. You understand? Every pack of cigarette tell you it is dangerous to your health. You understand? This is an advertisement there that if you advertise cigarette or even alcohol beverage, you have to put that the Minister of Health states so identify that this is bad for your health. It's not good for your health. But yet still, we are doing those things in front of our children. We are even encouraging them to do those very same things. And when they come out the way they are today as criminals in our society, you know what? You lament and you say the government didn't do enough. The government didn't do enough.
And they blame the government for it.
Right. So again, you can't do that. So thank you all, Trinidad and Tobago. May God Almighty bless each and every one of us. This is the first time Akash is in studio here. I want to send out a clarion call to anybody outside who think that they could come here in the studio as an invited guest and maybe demonstrate or say things that could be of a positive nature, that could help the country, build the country, stabilize the country, unify the country. I am going to welcome you. You don't have to pay a cent. You can come with me, sit with me, identify some of the challenges that you are plagued with, and we can be able to discuss it. You can even ask your friends and family to call you while you are in the show, 372-2129. So again, may God Almighty bless us all, keep us all safe. And again, I thank Akash. Thank you very much for coming. And again, friends, share this video and let the public of Trinidad and Tobago know what is really and truly taking place in our country. Thank you.